Hi, friends, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday, Session 2, where today we're going to go over some common team struggles and go through some of the solutions and some of the best practices based on some of the experiences that our current active teams have already struggled a little bit with. The system that we're using is powered by GoFundMe, and there's a couple of different steps about how to set things up, and we've learned a lot as some of the teams have gotten set up. So we're going to go over some of those common struggles with you today and hopefully present some solutions. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go through sort of an agenda of struggle buses, if you will. So this really presents some of the most common things. So struggle bus 1 is I registered myself and I listed my team, but now what do I do? So I'm going to go through 5 different struggle bus themes, and then I'm going to go through some solutions and do a demo about how the best way to set up your team and get you all throughout the process so that your team can focus on some of the fun parts and get some of this more clerical stuff out of the way. So struggle bus 1, again, focuses on you've registered yourself, but now maybe you're not necessarily the team leader, maybe you're just a team member, and you're not sure what to do once you register. So the first thing is we're going to go over all of the things on the event portal, and we're going to be updating the website very soon so that the button that you find on habitat7rivers.org sends you directly to the event portal where we're going to do most of our work today. So you've registered yourself, now what? So the first thing to do is to determine a team leader. So maybe that's you, maybe that's not you. Let's say, for example, you're from a church and your congregation is setting up a team and you're a member of the church and you're going to be the person that's really spearheading all of the efforts for your group. So if that sounds like you, you definitely sound like somebody that's a team leader. Maybe there's somebody else from the church, though, that you feel like, I'm really just kind of be the one to walk and do the thing, but I don't really want to be the leader. I don't want people turning to me, asking me questions or doing the thing where I set up the page. Too much, don't want to do it. So if that's the case, you'll want to determine who the team leader is. And we'll talk a little bit more about the difference between group leaders, team captains, team members, and that kind of thing once we do the demo. So once you've determined your team leader, the next thing you're going to want to do is determine how to best manage your team and the donations. So this is also going to go back to whether you're a group leader or a team captain. And really the biggest distinction is, do you want all of your donations to be counted as one group as a whole? Or do you want each individual member of your team to receive credit for the donations that they go out and solicit and collect on the team's behalf? Now, both will have a team total. Both will be counted in the team total in the leaderboard that I'll show you on the event portal. But the main thing here is that you're really trying to determine what your team wants, what your team needs, and what is going to be the best way for you to organize the team to make sure that the needs of your individual team members and your team as a whole are met. So in doing that, there might be some homework. So this might be something like creating an email address that is specific to your team so that when you're doing the registration, in the registration and in creating your team, having an email address is going to be associated to a GoFundMe account, because GoFundMe is what powers our event portal. So in order to join a team or create a team, GoFundMe requires that an account be created. And some folks don't want that account to be tied to their personal email address. And if that's you, one of your pieces of homework as a team leader is that you're going to want to create an email address or identify an email address. Maybe it's a church email address or a school email address, something like that, that connects the whole group. And you'll want to do that because that's where not only will you be able to sign in and have the credentials and the GoFundMe account, but you'll also receive notifications if anyone donates to your team via the online portal. Struggle bus 2. So you've identified your team needs, your team wants. Okay, now what? You've done your homework. You've really gotten everything together. organized your team, and figured out all of the preferences that you're going to want as you go to create your team on the event portal. So Struggle Bus 2 is really where people are getting stuck in creating that team page, or customizing the team page, or communicating to the team members that as the team leader that you've set everything up, now how do you get people to join what you've done? So we're going to go through some of that as well. Struggle Bus 3 is you got a lean, mean fundraising page. Now what are you going to do with it? Well, as the team leader, this one is really going to be all about how you can encourage, lead by example, and how you can rake in those dollars like Scrooge McDuck so that you can, swim in all of the donations that you've received. Being a little funny there, we're not actually going to let you swim in a pot of money, but boy, wouldn't that be an amazing addition to the event that we could consider for next year if we can pull that off. We're looking at you, Bath Savings. If you've got a vault for us to be able to swim in, that would be an amazing asset to your sponsorship. Struggle Bus 4 is now that everything is all set up, your fundraising has really kicked into gear, you've invited everybody, everything's supposed to be happening. Fundraising is really great at first, you're feeling like Scrooge McDuck, but then things are starting to trickle to a halt, and maybe it's the end of May or mid-June and you've done all the low-hanging fruit kind of stuff. So what do you do now to kick that back into high gear? And the things we're going to go over there are the team challenge that we created a whole video last Friday for the update to go through all of the team challenge things. And I'll also review some of that in the demo today. The team challenge is really going to be your best bet to be able to kick your fundraising into high gear if it trickles to a halt, because there is a pot of money that is going to continue to grow, and it has grown again this week. So we are nearly at $10,000 for that team pot, and that $10,000 is going to be split amongst the teams that have the most points. And we'll talk about how you can get points and all of that once we're visiting the event portal. So once you get your team challenge stuff, getting a little creative is also not going to hurt your efforts. So we'll talk about some of those creative things. And then the other piece of helping to re-kick that fundraising into gear is remembering that this is supposed to be fun. Building homes for people and having the dollars fuel our mission is definitely the heart of the event, but everything is so much better when we're having fun doing it. Because when we're having fun, we're creating community and we're really bringing a whole new element to the event that even if your progress is kind of stalled out and you're feeling a little ho-hum about it, reconnecting with what makes this fun for you and your team and what got you interested in doing this in the first place, that's really a key piece of getting all of this to work as absolutely best as it can. Struggle Bus 5, the last struggle bus in the line, is if you're overwhelmed and you get stuck, what are you supposed to do? The first thing I recommend is taking a deep breath, because when you get overwhelmed and you're feeling like maybe you've bitten off a little bit more than you can chew, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And as the event organizer, I can tell you, I've had a couple of those moments myself. And so the first thing, first and foremost, is to take a deep breath and realize that we're all doing the best we can to help create sustainable housing in the Mid-Coast for our neighbors. So we're really doing a good thing here. And we don't want everything to sort of spin out of control and make you feel overwhelmed and really crush the fun that you're supposed to be having in your fundraising. It's part of the whole platform and the whole word. So that's definitely going to be something that you want to just take a deep breath, find your zen, and then ask for help. So I have been going through the ins and the outs, and if you're getting stuck somewhere, chances are I've gotten stuck there as well with another participant, and we've worked it through and have a good solution for you. And I can go over those solutions for you in a one-on-one coaching session and really dive into where you're getting stuck and help you smooth that out so that your experience gets closer to that fundraising. And then, of course, these Wednesday webinars, if you have a suggestion of something you'd like for us to cover in a Wednesday webinar, something that you're getting stuck with or something that you just like some more information about, and that you think the rest of the participants might also benefit from, send me an email. I can be reached at katie@habitat7rivers.org. And, you know, of course, my contact information is sort of littered through all of the literature. So feel free to connect with me, because we can set up one of those one-on-one coaching sessions or create one of these Wednesday webinars based on the feedback that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump on over to that event portal, because that's really where all of the magic is going to happen. And those struggle buses that I shared earlier, those are going to be the driving forces of how I'm going to execute today's demo to hopefully solve some of those common things that we just chatted about. So the first thing is to get registered. And again, to get to this page, this is the link up here, but it is a little bit of a lot of stuff to type into the bar. So I recommend two things. Once you get to this page, which you can do from going to habitat7rivers.org, and once you get there, just make sure you bookmark it. And if you use Google Chrome like I do, hitting the star up here in this upper right-hand corner is a great way to do that. So once you're registered, you'll also receive an email from me, and you can easily get to that link here. And we're going to be updating that very first homepage, that very first thing that you see when you get to habitat7rivers.org, so that it brings you right to this page. And from this page, you can register. If you've already registered and you're ready to create your team, you can easily do that here. And then your team members can also easily join here. Or if you've solicited donors that want to make a secure online donation, you can also have them donate right here. So all of the things that you might want to do in terms of a first call to action when you get to this page is right here on these 4 buttons. It will also give you the total of where the whole event is at right now. So I'm just going to quickly go through this page and show you all of the features, just so that we have a good idea about what happens when you get to this online event portal. So once you scroll down a little bit, you'll notice that this menu here pops up. And again, this is if you're on your laptop or on your desktop computer. All of these things are also here in the mobile experience. The layout just looks a little bit different, but they're all here. And if you are on a mobile device, you can just scroll down through and you'll get through all of these different menus as you scroll down, just in a simple line. So the first thing that you see is a listing of all of the teams that are currently registered and all of the fundraisers that are also currently registered. So there's some more event details here that goes through all of the details about how it works, how you can help, how to be a donor. If you're interested in being a business sponsor and helping that Team Challenge fundraising bonus pot grow, that is also information that you can find right there on this first page. As you scroll down, you will see some information about the Team Challenge and where that fundraising bonus pot is at currently. So right now we're at $9,097, and I am super excited to see us hit that $10,000 mark, and I'm confident we're going to do it. So make sure you keep your eye on that, because your team could get a significant cut of that by doing, some of these challenges that are listed here that will earn you points. Every team that does these tasks will receive points, and every team that has any points by June the 30th will receive a cut of this fundraising bonus. The more points you earn, the bigger your fundraising bonus is going to be. So that's going to be where you're going to spend most of your time if you're interested in once you get all of your team set up and maybe your fundraising comes to a trickle after you've asked all of your family and friends. This is going to be a great way for you to be able to kick your fundraising back into high gear, because that fundraising bonus pot is just sitting there just waiting for you to come and grab some of it. So next on the list is some resources. So if you're a walker, this welcome toolkit is going to have a lot of the same information that's in today's webinar. So that could be something that you download and take a look at, as well as a fundraising guide that will also have some information in it about how to set up your team page, how to set up your own personal fundraising page on this event portal. And then if you need some help on how to register, there's also this tutorial video here that will walk you through each question of the registration. So that's sort of step 1. And now we're on to step 2 as we're getting ready to set up our team online and get our team members to fundraise. There's also a donation log here where you can keep track of all of your individual donations that you're collecting. And then a team captain guide that will give you some additional information if you're a team leader, and a team member guide if you're somebody that just wants to join a team, that will give you some additional information that will also be helpful. Every Friday of walk season, we have a Friday update video that's going to be released. And if you miss those live, that's totally okay, because they're all going to be listed here. So every Friday, you'll see a new link that will come up here. And a big shout out to Team UUCB and Team Elijah Kellogg Church, led by Denise Perry, who are doing some amazing things with the Team Challenge and really racking up some points and helping their team to earn that fundraising bonus. So check that out if you haven't already. And then, of course, these Wednesday webinars are going to be here as well. So once I'm finished recording today's webinar, I'm going to go back and I'm going to update this. So this will also be a live link. And if you missed the webinar from last Wednesday with the common kerfuffles of the registration and all of the other kinds of things, that's encased right there. So there are going to be 4 of these sessions that are going to happen every Wednesday through May. So after today's webinar, we have 2 more. So again, if you have any content that you'd like for us to cover in these Wednesday webinars, make sure that you reach out to me, and I'll make sure to create a Wednesday webinar that addresses any of the questions that you have. Finally, on the event portal is the gallery. And this gallery is just a whole listing of some photos of folks that have already been doing some walks and are already showing off the things that they're going to be able to do. So it's a great place that if you have some photos that you'd like to send me, I will make sure that they get posted to this gallery. And this is also going to continue to grow. I have some more photos that need to be uploaded. And so keep your eyes peeled for your team to be represented in this gallery if you've sent me some photos, or if I've taken some photos of your team when I've attended an event. So that gives you a general rundown of what this event portal looks like. And once your team gets set up on here, there are some other things that you can do throughout this event portal. So the first thing I'm going to do, going back to Struggle Bus 1, I registered myself, I listed my team. Now what? So once you've determined a team leader, if you're the team leader, you're going to be the one that comes on here to create your team. So you've already completed that online registration, and now you're ready to create the team and get that set up so that everybody can join you. So as you can see, once your team is created, that's how your team will appear under this menu here. And if you're a team leader and you're like, whoa, girl, this is like way too much. I'm already at like struggle bus number 4 and I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. Stop right there. You give me a call and I am going to help walk you through this. And in fact, if you want me to go ahead and do it for you, I am absolutely happy to do that. We'll set up a phone call. We'll do a one-on-one coaching session, and I'll go through and do all of the steps for you and help you really iron out some of these things. So if online portals and all of this jargon is just not your jam, that is okay. You reach out to me and I'm going to be your personal assistant to help you do that. So what this demo is going to show you is, if I am someone that does this for you over the phone, exactly what I go through here in the next few minutes of this Wednesday webinar is exactly what I'm going to do for you if we set up one of those calls. So the first thing to do is, like I said, GoFundMe is what powers this online event portal. And in order to create a team or join a team, it requires you to have an account. So the first thing that you're going to do to create your team is, if you already have a GoFundMe account, you're going to want to sign in this step right here. If not, that's okay. We're going to create one in the process. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because this is probably the thing that is going to call to folks first and foremost, is we want to create a team. So we'll come back to that sign in a minute. So once you are ready to create your team, the first thing it's going to ask you is, do you want to sign up as a team captain or do you want to sign up as a group leader? The distinction between this is, a team captain is someone who is going to set up the team, get everything ready to roll, and then each individual team member is going to go out and ask for funds. They're going to do their own walks, or maybe you're going to do a whole group walk. The main difference between a team captain and a group leader is a team captain helps to set up the team for individuals who are going to get credit for all of their donations individually, and then will be shown as a whole group total, with each individual member having credit for the donations that they receive. A group leader is someone who is going to manage all of the fundraising. Perhaps you're going to ask all of your team members that are perhaps church members to send all of the donations to your church, and then you're going to make one big donation as a whole group at the end of the event or even during the event. But each individual team member doesn't care if they get credit for each of the individual donations that they collect. So if you're really operating as one whole group and the individual team members just want to be members of that whole group versus being recognized as a team member that has individual donations of your own, that's really going to be the distinction. If you have any questions and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm a team captain, I don't know if I'm a group leader, that's okay. Give me a call and we'll talk about the specifics of your team, and I'll help you determine which of these options is going to be best for you. So for today's purpose, I'm going to be going ahead and I'm going to be setting up, I'm going to be the team captain of Team Restore, and I'm going to be setting up that team today so that at the end of this, you can see the whole thing, how it comes all together at the end of the webinar. So I'm going to hit this little, it's a little bit hard to see, but you're going to hit a little plus sign here that is going to make a number 1 here, whether it's the group leader or the team captain. They both have these little plus signs. So to move on to the next step, you're going to hit the plus sign and you're going to hit continue. And then you're going to put in your first name. Now, as a team leader or a group leader, I want to stop you right here because one of the most common team struggles is the way that this is set up and how it is going to appear on the page. So right now, if you are like I am, Team Restore, I don't want Katie Luce coming up as the name on Team Restore because I want everybody to know that it's the whole team and it's not just me individually. So I'm going to put in the first name, Team Restore. And then the email address, I also wanted to make sure I have a personal GoFundMe account that is already connected to a campaign, and I don't want that to be connected to the Restore. GoFundMe will only let you have one campaign per email address. So to have a unique email address to set up a whole team is really a benefit oftentimes. So I went through, as part of the homework that we talked about on Struggle Bus 1, I went through and I created just a generic Gmail account that is Team Restore Spring Walk to Build 21 at gmail.com. So this means that all of the notifications that come when someone donates is going to get sent to that email address, and it's going to isolate it. And I'm also going to use this email address to set up the GoFundMe account that we're going to get to in just a little bit. So this is an important thing to remember. So if you're somebody who is the team captain or the group leader, you just want to identify if you don't want it tied to your personal email and you don't want to have a GoFundMe account tied to your personal email, let's just set one up. And if you need some help doing that, I'm absolutely happy to help and here to help. So then the name of the team or group is Team Restore. There's a little bit of redundant information here, and I'm sorry about that. We're looking forward to having a platform next year that really meets some of our event needs a little bit better. But for this year, this is what we got. So we are rocking and rolling. And once you move on to this next step, you'll see there's a little square here where you can copy from buyer information. So that will already input all of the things that you just put in that previous section so that you don't have to type it in all again. And then you want to come down here to agree to the Spring 21 waiver. This Spring 21 waiver is mainly suited so that if you send me photos, we have the ability to share those photos. So it's really a photo release. And if you want to look through all of the details, you can click through to Spring Walk 21 waiver and read all of the details about what you're agreeing to. So we want to fundraise as a team. And in the process, we want to create our team page. So we're going to click create team. And the campaign name is going to be Team Restore. This is going to be the name of your team. So your campaign name is going to be the name of your team because that's how it's going to appear in all of the system throughout. I'm going to set a goal of $1,500 because that's what Team Restore is hoping to achieve. This does not pigeonhole you into being forced to raise that amount of money. This is just where you're hoping to get to. So amongst your team, decide on a fundraising goal and go ahead and put that in the campaign goal. And then you're going to hit continue. Next, it's going to give you the ability to make a self-donation throughout this process. And if you want to kick your team off so that when your team is created, you already start with a fundraising amount that has already been added into the campaign, you can do that here. But if that's not what you want to do as you're setting up the team, you can hit no thanks and click on to checkout, and then you're going to be completed. So in doing that process, it has created a team page for us. And this is where having a GoFundMe account is going to be crucial. So if you don't have a GoFundMe account yet, if up here still says sign in, when you click on go to fundraiser, it's going to bring you to the page where it's going to ask you to either sign in or create your account. So where I don't have one yet, I'm going to go ahead and go to fundraiser, and it's going to ask me to sign in. So as you'll see, I have one already for the other account. And if you are a church or a group or a team that already has a Facebook page for your group, so for example, if you are a church that has a really active social media presence and you want to connect this fundraiser to your social media that's already established, and you're already signed into that Facebook account, if you are the manager of that account, you can click continue with Facebook and it'll connect those. Now that's a little bit more complicated, and I think a lot of teams aren't necessarily in that boat. So what I would recommend is just using an email address. And where I don't yet have an account, I'm going to need to create one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to sign up, and I'm going to use my email address. And I'm going to put Team Restore, just like I did before, with that email address that I created. I'm going to confirm that email address, and then I'm going to set up a password that is going to be associated with this account. And then I'm going to hit next. And once I hit next and I'm signed up, it's going to automatically redirect me to that team fundraising page so that when I clicked on go to fundraiser before it made me sign in, it's going to know. It's pretty smart. So it's going to know that that's where I'm trying to get to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit save because I know I'm going to be going back to this page all of the time. And you'll notice once you're signed in, Team Restore is up here in this upper right-hand corner. All of the actions that you're going to want to do for your team page can be accessed up here. So right now we're on the campaigns page. So if I were to click up here in this little circle and I hit campaigns, this is where I'm going to find this page where I can then edit my team page. The other thing that's important to note here is the account page. So let's say, for example, that you went through and instead of putting Team Restore, you hit your name. So when the team is created, it's going to come up as your name instead. If you don't want that to happen and you want to change that setting, this is going to be where you go. So the first time that you sign up and you create your account and you go to confirm and you go to access that account page, it's going to ask you to verify your email. So you're going to want to make sure that the email that you use to set up, in this case, the one that I created, it's going to ask you to verify that. So you're going to have to make sure that you have access to that email in order to have all of the features unlocked on here and to be able to access your account and also delete your account. So if you decided, oh, I don't want to do that, but I don't want to back out of it, sending this verification email is going to unlock that account menu so that you can then delete the account. So I'm going to send the verification, and then you would go to your email. And I don't think I have that up. So you just go to the email that you have. It's going to show you an account email that it has sent you. Let's go ahead and go through this. So I'm going to add a tab here and I'm going to go to Gmail. And once I get to Gmail, I'm signed into my other account. So Team Restore, sign in. I got that saved. So now I'm into the email that I used to create the account, and you'll see that it says, please verify your email. So activate your account. So many steps. But what's really cool is, again, it's smart enough to know where you were trying to go. And so it has brought you to that account page. So if we were to now come back over here and come down here and click on account again, you'll see it brought us to the page that we were trying to get to. So this is where you can change the email address, change the password. Your personal information is set up as Team Restore. And sometimes I had promised you that there would be a delete button here. If you don't see this delete button, reach out to me and I'll reach out to GoFundMe to delete that account for you. You also have the ability to update your notifications, have your donate button here. You can create one, but I don't recommend doing that. The one thing you're really going to want to pay attention to here is the personal information and the email password. And then as you start to rake in some of those donations, you can also access your donation history here. So this would show we don't yet have any donations because we're just creating it, but this is where all of those would show up. So once you're finished, you can close out of this and we want to go back and now we want to update our team page. So again, we're going to come up to this circle. We're going to click on campaigns, and on campaigns, it's going to show us that this is our Team Restore page. And so this is the image that automatically comes up that as the event coordinator, I have put in there so that this is the auto photo that shows up on anybody that creates a team page. If you'd like to edit that, we're going to click edit. And edit page here. And as you're here, one thing that it's going to show you is, let's say you have a team member that wants to join, but they haven't yet registered. They can click register and be sent to the form where I'll have all of their information. But once they register, then they're going to need to join the team. So where I'm the team creator, I've already joined the team. It's not going to let me join again. So that's a good thing. There's also another photo that's here that automatically comes up. And you can add more photos by clicking here and then browsing on your computer or on your phone and updating. Maybe you have a great team photo that you'd like to show. And I actually do have another photo that I would like to show here. So I'm going to go down and I have this saved in a very particular place because I'm giving you all the secrets, the behind the scenes secrets here. So on the GoFundMe site, I have a Team Restore graphic that I have saved. And what's cool about this is if you also like your graphic and you're like, man, I'd really like one that says the name of my team, just reach out to me. I have a template and I'll create this for you and send it to you. And then you can upload a photo of your own. So once I've uploaded it, I'm going to then drag it to this first position. And that's what's going to make it right here as the first and foremost photo that everyone sees. So that's how you can customize your page. You'll also see that you can update the story. All of these things are pre-filled for you. So if you don't want to edit any of them, you don't have to. It's totally okay. But if you do want to customize your page, you certainly can come in and you can update any one of these here with some personal information about your team and why you're supporting Habitat. Once you're done, if you made any sort of changes, this save button would be a deeper teal like this register here, and you would click save and it would save your progress. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes. If you were to then go back to the event portal and look at your team page the way that anybody else can access it, as someone who isn't an administrator, you would notice that maybe the changes are not happening instantly. But have faith, because it will take place. It just takes a few minutes. And you can keep hitting refresh if that's the case, and it will eventually show you the updates. The other things that you can do are you can manage your page. So if you want to reach out to all of your team members on your fundraisers, if you want to add an offline donation that you've collected and want it to be reflected in your team total, all of those things are also available for you here. If you have any questions as you're going through this page, again, don't hesitate to reach out to me because I'm happy to help. The other thing that you can do is view your page, and viewing your page gives you the option to see it as someone that doesn't have the ability to edit the page, but just to either register, join the team. Again, if I was signed out of here, it would then turn this button into green and it would allow me to join the team. So when someone comes in to join your team, they're going to go through that same process where it's going to ask them to sign in. And as a team member, if they want to connect with their Facebook page and connect it to their personal Facebook page, they can do that here. That's really the most simple way to do it, because then they don't have to go through and put in their email address and create a password and create the whole new account. So if you are active on Facebook, or your team members are active on Facebook and they want to connect and sign in using Facebook, they certainly can do that. So otherwise, they would go back to this sign up page, put in their email address, and go through that process that we went through just a couple of minutes ago. So that really gives you all that you need to be dangerous when you're creating or customizing your team page. So I'm going to sign out, and I have that home page, that event portal page, bookmarked so that I can just click on it very easily, because I always want to know if this team challenge pot has grown since the last time I saw it, or if there are new teams. This also gives you a current listing of who's in the lead in terms of fundraising out of all of the individual fundraisers. So all of your team members and team leaders are here. And then all of your teams as a group are listed here. So if we come down to see more, we're going to see that Team Restore is right here. We're currently at $0. And when we click on that, it's going to go back to that team page that we just created. If we had uploaded some more photos in here, all of those photos would be here. I'm going to go ahead and show you Team UUCB, who has done a really great job customizing and updating their page. And when they did that, they earned some team challenge points, because that's one of the tasks for the team challenge. So oftentimes, if you're going through and you're just doing the things that we're recommending here, you're automatically going to earn some of those points. So you can see they've also added some photos, and you can click through those photos. And it also has the photo that was initially created when they created their page. So they've done a really great job, and they have been doing some amazing fundraising and have already exceeded the $7,000 goal that they set for themselves. So Team UUCB certainly are walk stars and are a good team to watch if you're a new team and want to see how some of the veterans who are really crushing it are doing it. It also gives a listing of all of their recent donations, both online and offline. If a check comes into Habitat for your team, I automatically add it to your team page and to the event portal as a whole. So these current standings that are on this first page should be accurate if all of your money has either been turned into Habitat, or you're adding those offline donations as they come into you. I would recommend just letting me take care of that. You're doing enough work with the fundraising that if that's something that I can help you out with, I am certainly happy to do that. So any of the donations that come into Habitat, perhaps you're taking checks, just drop them in the mail to me, 126 Main Street, and that's MAIN. We are close to Main Street in Brunswick, which is Maine like the state. So I make that distinction. But you can send them right here to Habitat. And if it comes in, make sure to put the team name in the memo line, and that will ensure that that donation gets put to your page. So we're coming up on the end of our webinar here. We have just a few more minutes that are left. And so I want to make sure that I've covered all of our struggle buses. So we determined how to do a team leader. We determined how best to manage your team and set up your donations. That's determining if you're a group leader or a team captain. We've talked about some of that homework that you might have to do, which is to make sure that you have an email address that you are okay having a GoFundMe account connected to, and also making sure that when you're setting up that account that you're putting team in first name and whatever the name of your team is in last name, to make sure that when it comes up on this page, that it is reflected as Team Restore, or as you can see, any of the other team names that have been set up here. Struggle bus 2, you know your needs and wants, and now what? We've created your team page on the event portal. We've customized the page, and to communicate to your team how they can join, you can tell them to join here. And once they're, once they click on that, they can join a team. Select join a team. It will give all of the listing of the teams here. And if they're not currently signed in and they have an account, it's going to ask them to sign in. So that's really baked right into the process. And if anyone has any trouble, they should feel free to give me a call and I will help them smooth out that process, because I know there are so many steps to this. And it's an easy place to get tripped up. So again, we're hoping to make that a little bit easier for next year on the platform that we choose, because this GoFundMe platform that is powered this year's event portal is actually going to be discontinued by GoFundMe. So this is the last year we're ever using this portal. So I promise, as we're choosing one for next year, we're going to make sure that it is a lot more user-friendly and has a lot less steps in the process. Or at least that'll be our goal. So struggle bus 3 was, you have a lean, mean fundraising page, and now what? You've just got to encourage your folks. You've got to lead by example, and then you want to rake in those dollars. So ask your family and friends, share it on social media, and really just let everyone know what you're doing, because you might be surprised about the folks that really want to support you, and be surprised by the amount of money that you're able to get donated just by telling your story. Struggle bus 4, fundraising has trickled to a halt. What do we do now? Make sure you check out that team challenge and the team challenge tasks, because you could really rack up some serious points by doing some really common things that are pretty easy to accomplish. And if you really want to rake up those points and really jack up your progress, working a volunteer shift at the Restore is a great way to do that. And to become a volunteer, just head to habitat7rivers.org and click on volunteer and follow the list of instructions that are there. And that's a great way to earn an easy 150 points for your team. And every shift that you complete earns 150 points. So that is how Team UUCB has really racked up their point count, because they have a lot of really active volunteers that come in regularly to the Restore and complete some of those volunteer shifts that help us keep our mission going and help the Restore fund a lot of the things that your walk dollars are also going to be funding. So struggle bus 5, if you're overwhelmed, again, take a deep breath and ask me for help, because as you can tell, I'm quite friendly and I'm going to be very patient, and we're going to go through everything until you are happy with how things are going for you and your team, because this really is supposed to be a very fun event. And I'm really looking forward to helping make sure that that is something that your experience is a lot of fun, and I want to make it as easy as possible, because I certainly understand that this has got a lot of steps and it can be a little bit complicated. So I have no shame about that. Please feel free to ask me, because I've been spending a lot of my time figuring out how to do this, and it was pretty challenging for me at first too. So tap my knowledge of amazingness that I got in this beautiful brain of mine. So that really is it. And before I get cut off, I want to go ahead and go back to my slide deck here and give a huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors. And our sponsors, Down East Audio and Video, Bath Savings Institute, Midcoast Hospital, Goodwin's Motor Group, Katahdin Federal Credit Union, and all of our brick and mortar sponsors. They have been incredible and have helped us to really jack up that total that you saw on that event page. And there's still room to become an event sponsor for this year. So all of the sponsors from this point forward, all of the funds that they contribute are going to go into that team challenge pot. So if you are a business and you are looking for a really great way to connect with customers in your community, becoming a team challenge sponsor at any level, you get to choose the level, which makes it fit easily into any budget, regardless of the size of your business. This is going to be a great way for you to be able to connect with customers in your community. So there is my shameless team challenge plug, and that's how we're going to jack up that total to hopefully more than $10,000. And it's going to be a really exciting time when we get to June 30th and start divvying out those fundraising bonuses. So if you want to get in on that, now is the time, and you feel free to reach me by cell at 207-280-1900 or by emailing me at katie@habitat7rivers.org. So that concludes session 2 of our webinar Wednesdays. And if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, because as you can tell, I am quite lonely in Walk Central when I'm here by myself, and I love making friends. So reach out to me and let's go over anything that you might still be struggling with. And again, thank you to our sponsors. Thank you all for checking out this webinar. And we'll be back on Friday with an update video with a current listing of who's in the lead for the team challenge and what their point totals are, to see who might be getting a really big cut of that team challenge fundraising bonus pot. So thank you so much for supporting Habitat, and I hope you have a great day.